Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Spiritual Discoveries with Angie and Friends. My name is Angie Abt. I'm a registered Lilydale medium, and I'm really happy to be here with you all this morning. And I want to introduce to you, too, my friend, Susi Rosinski. Hi, Susi.
Good morning.
Welcome. Oh, here we go. We're connecting to Blog Talk. It'll just be a second. Maybe, here we can talk. We're going to talk about lots of good stuff today, right, Susie?
Absolutely.
Good morning, everybody. And just in case you're just coming on, my name is Angie Abt. I'm a registered Lilydale medium. This is Spiritual Discoveries with Angie and Friends. And my friend today is Susi Rosinski, Qigong master, healer. I mean, so many other things that you do as well, right?
Yes. It
Yeah.
seems to be that keeps growing.
I know. Isn't that something? Like spirit definitely guides us, don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you in a second. So everybody, this is great. Oh, look at that, Susie. I don't know if you can see the comments, but everybody, I love it. Write in, say hi, tell us where you're from. We love that. And also too, Susie's going to take your questions as well. So if you have questions about Qigong, we're going to talk about animal healing. We're going to talk about healing of people. We're going to talk about her new center, Awaken, lots of good stuff. So hi, Donna. Hi. Oh, Marianne. Hi, Marianne. And then Alice from Houston, Texas. That's the thing about this electronic stuff. We can connect with people from so far away, right?
Awesome.
Yeah. Hi, Amanda from Franklinville. I love going to Franklinville. It's a great spot. And there's my friend Grace. Hi, Grace. Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome. We're glad you're here. So while people are getting on, I just want to ask you. Oh, here's Sharon from Oklahoma. Hello. You love Qigong? That's good to hear, right, Susie?
Yes, it is.
Me too. Me too. And so Susie, I'm just going to ask you, what's your favorite thing about Lilydale?
I love the atmosphere. I love the walking through, seeing the houses, seeing the gardens. That to me is really fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Taking the time. It's like you step away from the rush and hustle of the outside world.
Yes. And don't you feel that the minute you drive through the gate?
You do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's like you've entered a different dimension.
Yep. It's like I always feel that every single time, and it never changes. It's always that way. Always. Yeah. And you mentioned like the houses. I love the houses, but also the gardens. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen rhododendrons grow the way they grow in Lilydale.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, pretty awesome. So, okay, hi Donna. Okay, I wanted to talk about Lilydale for a minute because we should talk about Lilydale. Everybody, Lilydale season is I think it's June 23rd this year, so it'll be here before we know it. I can't wait. I can't wait to get down there. So Susie, I want you to tell everybody about you. You're a little bit about your journey. Like, how did it start? How did you get into Qigong? How did you get into animal healing?
Well, actually, I had horses. I was riding and competing. I did dressage.
Did you when you were younger?
Yep, in my
Wow.
20s, right through to my 50s.
Wow.
Um, so my horses, um, I met some of the holistic veterinarians, and lucky for me, I started asking lots of questions, and they were really kind and started telling me. So I sort of got educated through them, And I always say I became the liaison between the conventional vets and the holistic vets because they always wanted to know what the other one was doing and how does that work.
Yeah.
Kind of convinced a couple of the conventional vets to look at acupuncture. Then I realized that
Wait, did they look at acupuncture? Did they?
yeah, they went and got trained.
Really?
I convinced them of the validity of it.
Wow. So you can do acupuncture on a pet?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
will the pet like lay there like a dog or something?
Some do, some don't.
Yeah.
Depends. But for me, my one horse, yeah, you would take your life in your hands to give him a shot.
Wow.
And I come in and there he is. He's standing. It's like he's got all these needles. I'm like, wait a minute, what's wrong with this picture?
Really? So he just kind of was blissed out and all relaxed.
He was like, yeah, I'm all for this. I'm like, all right.
Funny how animals talk. It's funny how animals talk to us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, keep telling your story. I wanted to ask that though about the acupuncture because I didn't know you could do that on an animal.
Yeah. So around 2008 or so, I realized that I could learn how to do acupressure. So I think I started my actual training around 2010, 2011. But
What is, just real quick, what is acupressure?
so acupressure is we're not using needles, you're using the same points. So you're massaging the point to
Do you mean is that like energy points on your body?
Yes.
Okay. Like the main ones like chakras and things or
Well, chakras is different.
okay.
Chakras lay down the center line and they're actually pretty deep in the body. The energetic body is 7 layers deep, so that's the last layer. I always say, God was pretty smart. He gave us all these other things that we can do. It's like, I don't know how much you can really affect those,
Yeah.
Everybody has their own techniques, but I like mine because, we've got this lovely energetic matrix that we can affect the mind, the body, and the spirit through. So,
wait, what is that? So the
meridian.
Go explain. I don't know what that. I kind of know what that means.
How far do you want me to explain? Because so we have meridians,
right?
So
that you're talking about like the matrix, like that's kind of our energy centers and the meridians and the energy points. So that's kind. You're saying that's kind of how you're doing the acupressure.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are there's more than just meridians.
Mm-hmm.
So the vessels, so the meridians are like your veins. The vessels are the energetic arteries. So that's really where we can do a lot more accessing deeper things in the body.
Okay.
And needles can only go so far, but you can feel, you can use your chi to help someone clear and
that's exciting. So your chi is your energy. And so when you do acupressure, like, is that like where you're pressing on parts or you're working in the energetic field?
I really don't do acupressure anymore, but that was the start.
Okay.
At the same time, I became a Reiki master and met Kathleen Prasad, who's known as the animal Reiki master. So she does a lot of that training specifically for animals. So, and I prefer teaching Reiki that way because the animals teach us so much more about what Reiki is really about. So, when you start layering things, so I've got the knowledge of what those points will do. And then I added the energetics of Reiki. So now you don't really need to use your acupressure. You can use the Qi instead. Well, now you're into medical Qigong.
Wow. Okay. So you're saying like all this, and I know that you do this on animals because I remember that you had a class for teaching people how to do Reiki on animals at my center, Santosha.
Like we did several classes there.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And yes. Yeah. Talk about those classes. Do you still teach those?
I do. I actually have a level 2 coming up April 1st and 2nd. So if anyone is interested in joining that class on Sunday, we do go to the zoo, and that's included in your price of your class. We go into the zoo and we meditate with the animals and see how how the animals respond to those energetics.
Really?
Oh,
So I knew you did it. I knew you did it, and I think the day you did it from Santosha, I couldn't go. But
yeah,
so do you sit like kind of out? I mean, obviously you're not in the cage, but you're outside the cage, like
yep,
certain animals, and you
yep,
guys just sit and meditate.
yep,
Wow.
yep. Sit and meditate, and the animals respond. It's never the same animal that responds, but we always have clear um, acknowledgement of energy while we're there.
You
So,
can tell, like, do they
oh,
calm
yeah,
down or do they?
yes. Last time we were there, one of the uh, big cats was up real high, and she came down, and she just like two of my students were meditating, and she kind of came right up against the glass or the cage or whatever it was, I can't remember, and was like laying there, like,
Wow,
and then
that's
sort of rubbing
beautiful.
against their the wall of the barrier.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They
I
were
it's funny because when I meditate, like every morning I meditate, and my dog immediately, whatever she's doing, she comes over and sits in my lap
yeah,
and stays the whole time. And it's almost like she can tell when I'm done because she gets up and goes back to whatever playing or bone she was chewing or whatever. It's amazing.
exactly, exactly. Um, the animals see us for who we really are. So when that jangle of stress and emotions are off of us, they can really see who we are and
Yeah.
respond very well to that.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I remember you said, because I remember when you taught Qigong at Santosha, you had me bring my two dogs in. They were the
Yeah.
practice ones, yeah, and one was kind of good. The other one kept running around. Remember? Yeah, and but I remember like you said that they kind of you can tell how long an animal needs the healing because they would lay down and then when they were done, they'd walk away. They were done.
Yep. Yep. Um, I think one of the biggest mistakes that people do with energy healing with animals is try to press chi. It's like, you need this.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Lay
And,
down for God's sakes, right?
yeah, and,
Yeah,
and it's almost like static electricity. The animal's like
yeah,
but when we center ourselves and we're just holding space, and then you can open your hands up to them. It's like you become like a lighthouse.
yeah,
Okay, so picture the lighthouse, the beam of light. The animal takes exactly what they need. So
yeah,
now they can lead their treatment themselves. They
yeah.
choose what they need. They're far more intelligent than we ever will
You
be.
think, yeah, yeah, no, that's pretty amazing. Can so just for everybody that's on, can anybody do this? Like, if you're not trained in Reiki, can you still like send healing to your animal? Like, what can you do if your animal seems a little off, or you can tell they're not feeling well? What can anybody do?
You know, I always say smile. Smile in your heart. S start, M my, I internal, L love, E engine, smile. So what this point is directly connected to your heart. Your center of your hand
In
is
your hand.
yeah,
Okay.
directly connected to your heart.
Okay.
So laying your hands on and coming from that space of love, love heals everything.
I agree. I always say that to my students. If you do a message and you're connecting from your heart, you cannot go wrong because it's coming from that place of love and kindness. And that's the same thing. So you're saying you just kind of focus on your heart, right?
Oh, and also come from joy,
Yeah,
happy.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, as Susie said, happiness is everything's birthright.
Yes.
And
It is. It is. And we don't always think that, do we?
no, no, we don't get it because we get stuck
Yeah.
in the heavier, denser emotions. And love is what makes the world go round. That's what makes nature move in its um, cycles,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Lo- Go ahead.
so when we are coming with love and joyful love,
Yeah. Yeah.
happiness,
Yeah.
then we can make a difference.
And a smile, like you said too, I mean, and you just feel better when you smile,
Sure.
and I always feel a smile is healing. If you just, I remember especially when we didn't have to wear masks anymore, and I went to Target, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can walk right, seeing people's faces, and I smiled at everybody, and they smiled back, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So Mary says unconditional love heals everything. Oh, I agree. I agree. I'm not, Nikki said, I'm not trained in Reiki. I've listened to my ancestors and everything comes from love. Wow. This is
True.
awesome. Yeah.
True. I-
Let's see. Joy is the emotion of the heart. Yes. Totally agree with that too. Yeah. Oh, this is awesome. Animals move with chi. I remember when I was first kind of on my journey and I'd gone to a class at Fellowships of the Spirit and we learned a little bit about energy healing. And at the time I had a Cocker Spaniel and she had jumped off the couch and you could tell she was kind of limping. And I had read that that's something that can happen to Cocker Spaniels and they can hurt themselves and wind up paralyzed. So I remember thinking I took her to the vet and they said, watch her. And then I thought, you know what? I just learned this energy healing thing. I'm going to do it. So I started to, and I did just what you said. I went to my heart, to that place of love, and I always feel that white light that coming down and kind of going to my heart and coming out my hands. And she laid with me and every day I did it. And she'd lay for 5 minutes, sometimes maybe 10, whatever. And I could feel like the energy kind of shift. And I would say after 2 weeks of doing that, the vet said she's going to go down. You have to expect this to get worse. And it didn't. It didn't. Like after I did that, she never had the problem again, lived to be at about 14.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I have a lot of clients and I teach, things that you can do at home for the dogs and, horses, cats.
Yeah. Yeah. So you teach classes, but you also, like, if somebody wanted a healing on their pet, do you
Yep.
do that too?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And like I said, I actually give them things that they can do to kind of keep what I did moving.
Yeah.
So chi needs to keep flowing. When there's a problem, it's because it's like the beaver built the dam, right? Something got blocked.
In the energy, that's
Yeah.
that's true of any
Sure.
illness or anything, right? That happens with
Yeah.
people too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you look at those acupoints as like gates or locks in a canal, so if something gets stuck, now we have a problem. So think of what happens when the beaver builds a dam. The water backs up, right? Now you get a pond, and the pond
Yeah.
is kind of stagnant,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now that's your heat and inflammation. Now what's going on the other side? There's no water moving on, going down the stream. It's
Wow.
up.
Yeah.
So now we have two problems, right?
Yes.
So
That's a great visualization. I never thought of that, but you're right though. Damn. So go ahead. So what do we do?
yeah. So what I do is kind of fill in that lower, lesser area, and then open up the gates. Now, the owner's job is to keep that moving, so we don't go back a step. What I do works well with no matter who you're seeing. Whether you're seeing a holistic veterinarian or a regular veterinarian. What you don't want is to go forward and then slide back and then go forward and then slide back. That's never a good scenario for us or for the animal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we want to be able to keep things moving steadily.
Yeah.
Not go, like ratchet, go forward and then back.
Yeah, and stop, because then when you go back, you're kind of almost putting the dam back in place. And you know what I think of, and I've done that plenty of times in my life, right? Where you start something and then you kind of slide back after a couple weeks, and you have to keep going. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes good sense.
So simple things that we can do. You don't have to have a whole lot of knowledge. Generally speaking, if I give somebody an acupoint, it's going to be real obvious what I want you to do, where you need to be.
Yeah. But otherwise, it's come from your heart and come from love.
Yeah,
just kind of keep on. Like I remember with my dog, I would just put I would did that, and I put my hand on her back, and sometimes she didn't let me put it on her back, so maybe she needed it other places. She keep moving, and I would just put my hand there and kind of close my eyes and just feel like I'm sending her love, I'm sending her healing, and honestly, it worked.
Yep.
Here we have my dog Donna. My dog lived to be 18 and my cat 17 because of the Reiki I gave them in their later years. That's excellent. That's true.
Very true.
So let's talk about Qigong. Okay, so I love talking, and I want to hear all about your training, and you've done so much with Qigong. What is Qigong for anybody who doesn't know?
Well, okay, so Qigong is the mother of pretty much everything in Chinese culture.
Okay.
From the martial arts, so Qigong is where Kung Fu comes from. Qigong is the mother of Tai Chi. Actually, Tai Chi is the marriage of Kung Fu and Qigong together.
Really?
It's the mother of acupressure and acupuncture. Of course, it's the movements. And, people are familiar with movement of like Tai Chi. So simplify that a lot, and that would be your Qigong. And there's many different versions of Qigong. So you have some that are more martial. You have some that are more medically based. So on, okay, we want to clear the organs and we want to bring good chi in. There are some that are what I call nature based, and then there are some that are more meditative. So that's what we call the internal martial arts, the internal Qigong.
Okay.
So I started when I went down to Florida, and I was living down there at the time, and there was this 4-day seminar on Qigong, and I knew a little bit about it, but I didn't know a whole lot. So I was like, I really want to go to this. Oh my God, I got dumped into like the highest level that you probably can get into.
You did? That was your first class?
My first class, and there was over, I think, 2,300 people in the Orlando Convention Center, all breathing and moving simultaneously. So when you have a lot of people moving together and breathing together, you're going to create a stronger energy field. So it magnifies. So one person moving by themselves, maybe you enhanced your chi by 50%. Now you add 3 people, and it's not 150. It's more like 500%.
Wow. So you were all like in a group with that many people and all in doing movements?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was very very sophisticated, big screens, music, you could see the chi between the hands type videos. The guy did a really great job. And I came out of that, and I have asthma. At that time, it was very severe asthma. It would be like your chronic COPD. So I was on 3 medications twice a day, just to mog along. And I continued with doing the movements, and suddenly I realized I wasn't using my inhalers. Yeah.
Wow.
So the doctor
And
took
you were
me off.
using them like for years, all
Yeah.
the time, had to have them.
Yeah.
And you weren't even intentionally, it's like you just kind of noticed, I don't need this as much as I did.
Right.
Wow.
So the doctor took me off of one, then took me off the second one, and so I improved my lung function through qigong, and qigong is one of the things that is prescribed for asthmatics. Qigong Tai Chi.
Really?
Well, because when you're doing the movements, you're massaging acupoints. So while I was in those classes and I was doing these movements, I understood because I had already started the acupressure courses. So I already had this knowledge of meridians and points and all this stuff. And I was like, I really understand this. This is really cool.
Wow.
So
that's exciting. That's exciting, right?
Yeah, that created, this dynamic of being able to actually use chi even better.
Yeah. So chi is energy, right? Okay. And so say like, and I know, because I took some classes in Qigong also. And it's like opening up your energy or bringing more chi in. Is that kind of what we're doing?
Yeah. Well, you wanna clear first.
Okay.
You don't want to drink from a dirty cup, right? So basically, we do things to clear ourselves, clear the meridians, and then we start gathering more chi, and then you want to circulate it. So that's the movements.
Oh, okay. So you're like, I remember like a move where it was, I think we went down, I can't, I'm not going to do it, but go down on the ground and gather up the chi and then kind of bring it, and you could feel it. Like you can feel, if you do an energy ball, right? You can feel it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then bring it down. You're right. And I didn't, and then we did movements.
Yeah. So that would be the start of how a qigong form would go, at least the way I teach it. The movements are meant to, strengthen and clear the organs, and this is happening while you're moving. You're really not having to do anything. That's the beauty about this. It happens because we're moving.
And the movements are kind of fun. Like I did one. I remember one that was, I don't know what it was called, but you went like this and kind of like I remember that the instructor said, be like a child, and let your arms kind of be like ropes and just bounce around. And I'm like, wow, I love doing this. And you felt fantastic after you got done. Do you probably know that move?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I do. And that is the secret. Be like a child. You'll live longer.
Yes. Yeah. Be like a child and have fun. Because you know what? Right. And when you watch little kids, I love driving around in the summer or walking around because little kids will be dancing and playing hopscotch and they're so filled with joy. And then we become responsible adults and we forget about that part of us. It's still there, right?
We forget about that. We forget about a lot of things, right? We forget that we are part of nature. Nature is actually, we're not separate from nature.
Yeah.
So that's one of my most popular forms that I do a lot with people. By the way, I am teaching Qigong for children at Lilydale this summer. Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right, you guys, I'm going to put up Susie's website. Let me just figure out how to do this here. I'm becoming more technical every day. There we go. So www.westernnewyorkqigong.com, but WNYQIGONG.com. And that's your website.
Yeah, yeah. And
Okay.
there's an event calendar, and if you just keep scrolling through, I'm teaching July. Reiki for Animals in July. I'm
You
teaching
are? Oh, you're doing that in
one.
Lilydale?
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
can't
gosh.
remember.
Wait, Reiki for Animals.
I want to say it's July 9th, but I could be wrong.
Okay, you guys, what I'm going to put up a banner right now, so you know I'm making a banner, but I will also look it up after the show, and it'll be in comments, so you'll know Susie's classes.
Yeah.
That's I didn't know you were doing
And
that.
Qigong for Children. That is Monday, I believe, July 24th or 25th.
Okay, that's excellent too. All right, hang on a minute.
Teaching a introduction to Qigong energy healing, what we call medical Qigong energy healing. So that's kind of like you're going to get Qigong by fire hose, basically. I wanted it to be a 2-day course, and they wouldn't let me, so we have to tighten it up a lot. And so you'll get a chance to
Wait, so that's medical Qigong?
Yep. So
Okay.
it's actually learning how to do some of the basics, protocols, and possibly a treatment. That was the plan. I don't know. We'll see how time goes.
So what is medical? Because I know you started to study with Master Zhang. I wanted to talk about him because you bring him over here all the time, and he's teaching classes and doing, from what I've seen, some pretty amazing healings.
Yeah, yeah. Oh wow. If you ever get a chance to have a healing with him, you want to. It's amazing. So Master Zhang is
I said that wrong.
one of the last, really big masters. I mean, his family, the line, his ancestors were historically 8 generations, 400 years of treating the emperors and the royal family.
Wow.
Wrote, one of the ancestors wrote a book that's still being used. The mythological figure, the Yellow Emperor, gave the grandson the last name was Zhang. And so the Yellow Emperor's classic is still being used in the acupuncture school. That is also part of our lineage. So that's why he wears the yellow robes, because only the emperors get to wear the yellow robes. Well, he is part of that lineage, so he gets to wear the yellow robes.
Wow.
So in '92, the United Nations brought Master Zhang to the United States to teach and to do treatments. So I got really lucky. I did not know who he was. I went to a conference, and I was kind of looking for somebody to help me get to the next level. And stumbled in on his class, and basically 6 months later, I was on a plane to China and Tibet.
Really? You did really?
Yeah,
wow.
I've been to Tibet 4 times with him.
Isn't it? I just have to say, it's so funny how we wind up like. Would you have ever thought that you were going to wind up in China studying Qigong 5 years before you did?
I knew by 2010 that I was going to. 2010, 2011, I knew I was going to go to China. I just didn't know when or how, or exactly how that was going to manifest. But I did know that. So you just say, okay, here we go.
I know, I do that too. Like, here we go. What am I doing now? I don't know, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So how was that to go to China? So you studied with Master in China, and that's how you learned Qigong.
Well, yeah, that's part of part
Part of it. Part of it.
of it. He does the same thing of the ritual fasting on the mountain that Susi did to get his enlightenment, to become, have the energy Reiki. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to go with him. It's like, I want to do this. I want to experience this. And so it's really interesting how different you feel when you are in that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
The energy, like he's been in Taiwan this winter earlier in the year, like in January. The energetics of that area is just so much more powerful. He comes back and I'm like, whoa, okay, here we go. Fasten your seatbelts because we're gonna be flying now.
Did you go do the fasting on the mountain and all that too?
Yeah.
You did.
He has his own center. So what they did was they built a like a temple, an old fashioned temple on Mount Chichen, which is outside of Chengdu, which is in Sichuan. So you stay there and meditate and do the fasting, and it's fabulous.
Yeah. So meditation, so that's an important part of this too, right?
Yeah.
Because that connects you to right directly. Is that why?
Yep.
Yeah.
The meditations that we do are probably a little bit different than what Westerns see or visualize. We're actually looking inside and seeing the starlight, moonlight, sunlight, and the three energy centers, and reflecting inside of yourself until you become shimmering. Like sunlight on the water or moonlight on water, how it sparkles.
Yes.
You want to feel like inside.
Really? So you're meditating. Can we do that? Can we how could I do that? Come to one of your classes, right? For sure. But is there like a quick, like a hint?
Well, connecting to the heavens is part of it. Mm-hmm. So when we're ill, when we're having difficulties, it's you have yin and yang. So the yin organs are your heart, lungs, liver, spleen, and kidneys. Mm-hmm. The other organs are yang organs, and the yin organs hold on to things. So they like to hold on to those heavier emotions and stuff. Mm-hmm. The yang organ's job is to move everything out. So when there's a problem, we don't have enough yang qi. Well, yang qi is heavenly qi.
Okay.
So connecting yourself to the stars, the moon, and the sun really is going to open that up.
And that's going to bring in that other energy and help us kind of get more in balance.
Yep, to get more yang qi. Yes, so that you can heal.
Because that's important too, right? That we, as you're saying, that we want to move things through and not hold on to things. And I think so often maybe we don't process. I don't know why, but I do it. I feel like we hold on to things.
Well, it's the nature of our existence. That's part of what being human is, to learn not to hold on to things. So that's enlightenment. Nothing is permanent. Just let it go.
Let it go. Yeah, and change is like you can guarantee we're gonna have change. That's always going to be the way it is.
Yeah.
So Susi, so medical Qigong. So all right, so you teach this and you offer sessions.
Yes. So to get back to what is Qigong, medical Qigong now is we're calling it clinical Qigong more often now. Mm-hmm. All Qigong movement is going to have some sort of medical benefit. Same Qi, same as Kung Fu, the keto, whatever it is you're doing, they're going to have some sort of medical benefit. But treatments using Qi was known as medical Qigong. We've changed the name to clinical Qigong because everybody's, oh, we're doing medical Qigong. They're just doing movements. And it's like, no, that's not medical Qigong. So,
Oh, because it's more specific,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
it's supposed to be treatments, or clinical Qigong is what we're saying now. Clinical Qigong is somebody's using their Qi to guide your Qi.
Okay. Okay.
Or to replenish your Qi.
Okay.
So
you're not giving them your Qi. Are you bringing in Qi, like channeling it somehow? How does that work?
yes and no.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I do specific meditations and movements every day to have a little bit more Qi so that I got a little extra. So I'm always a little staticky. So to speak. To release that Qi to give to somebody. So Reiki comes off of Qigong. I see the connection probably more so than other Reiki or Qigong masters that haven't had this connection with Grandmaster Zhang. My understanding is that they really are the same thing, just that Reiki is a little bit more simplified.
Wouldn't you say all energy healing it's all connected, right?
All connected.
But it's different tools or different ways you do it,
Yeah.
but it's
Yes.
really kind of coming from that main place, right? Yeah.
I think what I find is that with my style of medical Qigong, I have a lot more safety protocols that I don't see out there very often. And my students are all like, yeah, we wish we knew that before.
Yeah, that's important. Yeah, talk. And also, you know what, I wanted to say this too. Like somebody like they come to you, but it's not to not go to a doctor, right? It's go to a doctor, and then you do
Right.
also like you use anything that's out, resource. Yeah.
I recommend that they, continue with their doctors and their acupuncturists and their chiropractors. And sometimes I can kind of give a little insight, so that we get a little bit better treatment. What I find is, especially with the people who are dealing with the harder illnesses, we can keep things level. And so then the doctors are like, well, you're an anomaly. And I was like, no, they're taking care of themselves so that the disease doesn't progress. So we can keep things at bay so things don't go, numbers don't rise.
Yeah, it's like you're doing the other part. And I'll just give you an example. I have rheumatoid arthritis. And I remember when I went to the doctor and they discovered I had it. And he said, well, here's a prescription. Here's the medicine. And I said, okay, well, I'm grateful to have that because I was at the time I was in a lot of pain. But I said, aren't we going to try to build me up or something, or try to figure out like what's the imbalance in my body that why did I get this? And he said, no, don't worry, just take the medicine. And that didn't make any sense to me. Correct?
Right. Because basically there's dampness of some sort in your body, right? That's like, how does things become rusty from dampness? Is it cold dampness? Is it hot dampness? Is it both? Could be.
Yeah.
So you're looking at things and trying to discern where the problem is, and
how to bring in that Qi, like almost where I could see it's like, okay, so my Qi is down, and I did do things like Qigong and all that helped me tremendous in energy healing, but it kind of got me, I felt like it, and I didn't think of it this way till you said it, but it's like it brought in more Qi that my body needed to help me get more balanced. And then I think that made the difference when I took the medicine, but I felt like what helped me was both.
Sure. You want to we want to get to a point where maybe they lower the medication, or they say, oh well, we can push that procedure out or that test out because your numbers are good.
Well, I'll tell you what, I did that and I went to the doctor. Well, I went to the doctor and I said, I think that I'm gonna stop taking this one medicine. And he said, no, no. And I said, well, here's what I'm doing. Can we try? And I had a doctor that said, yes, let's gradually take you off. Promise me if you're not doing better, you'll go back on it. I gradually went off and didn't have to go. I'm still on some meds, but not like I was. So
Not like you were. Right.
yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Let me just say real quick here, Mary Trevino. I think Mary, you must be a Qigong healer or Reiki or something, because you're right. I can tell you, she's saying opens the meridians, both, that it's wise that you put the safety. You get out of it exactly what you put into it, and sometimes a little bit more. Very true. Correct. Yeah. And then Jean is saying, I'm new to this. I don't totally understand. I do need healing.
Yeah. Well, we have these lines of energy in our body. Think of those lines as it's like a book. Okay. So we have the meridians begin and end. They usually begin and end in the fingers and toes, and then the points will land someplace, the end point will land someplace on the body. Then it has a deeper channel that runs directly to the organs. Organs in Asian medicine does more than what Western medicine believes. So we can kind of connect things and influence things a little bit more.
Yeah.
So now those points along the meridians are like chapters in a book. So that's the story. Oh, this point is going to affect the eyes and the head and the neck. Well, they've been studying this for 5,000 years. They kind of know what's going to do what.
Yeah.
So we can kind of now start to influence the body through these points. And by the way, the further away you are from the problem, so the fingers and toes, everything from like below the elbow and knee, those points are going to have a stronger effect on the physical body. So we say,
wait, I'm confused.
Yeah, it's just the way we're designed.
Okay, all right.
God's smart. I'm not gonna argue with him on this.
Yeah.
Because it works.
Okay.
So think of like opening up the windows and doors.
Okay.
To let the tiger out. You don't want to grab that tiger by the tail, somewhere's on the body, if I haven't opened up the windows and doors for
right. Oh my gosh. That makes total. Yeah. I love your analogies that you have. That's a good one, but you're right. You want to open up the windows and doors, and that's going to let things go. And then you can bring back in the good energy.
Yeah.
And really that's what Qigong is it's letting go, bringing new energy and putting your body back into balance.
Yeah. I always say I use earth chi to kind of power wash, and then we use heavenly chi to strengthen. Tonify is the word we use. We're going to strengthen.
So if somebody gets a session with you, that's what you're doing. Is you're getting rid of the old and then bringing in the new. Yeah. What did you say? Strengthening.
So re-energizing.
Yeah. And you can feel that, like when you have an energy healing or you do the Qigong movements, you can feel it. Like, and I haven't done it in a while, but I used to do like certain ones like every single day. And probably that helped a lot with the RA, and I stopped, and I need to get back to it because I felt fantastic.
Yeah. There certain things work better on certain illnesses, so we'd have to figure out what works for you and maybe design a set of movements that work specifically for you.
So it's different for everybody.
Yeah, sure. And that's why there's so many different variations of forms also. Because somebody in the north, close to the Russia, isn't going to do the same thing that's in the south, close to whatever's below. Somebody on the seaside is going to do something that somebody in the desert would do.
Why? Because they're connected to different things like in nature or in the environment.
They have different problems because of where they live.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you
Yeah,
mean
so
different problems health-wise and things too?
sure, sure.
Really?
Yeah. So in the old days, before TCM, Mao kind of created TCM, they standardized it. In the old days, every village would have a healer. That family handed down their system of treatments for generations,
Wow.
but they weren't all the same
Wow.
because every village had a different issue, right? Their
Yeah,
food, the land that they grew the food on, their weather conditions were going to be different. And that's
yeah.
influence our body.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. You know what I want to ask you, because I want to ask you a couple things before we, because the hour goes by fast. So if somebody wants to like go to one of your classes, or somebody wants to have a session with you, whether it's themselves or for their animal, they can go on your website, www.wnyqigong.com, right?
Yep.
And everything is there.
Yep. Yep. I have an event calendar. You might have to forward through to July, and September is the other class, the medical Qigong energy healing introduction to. And then the other classes are in July, but then I also have other classes outside of what I'm doing at Lilydale.
I know you have a lot. Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. If somebody lives away, can they connect with you? Do they have to see you in person, or can you do this from a distance?
I do remote treatments.
Okay.
I have a lot of requests, so it might take me a week to get you into this time slot because I have a lot of requests, and there are some that are already pre-booked. But yes, I do remote sessions, and what happens is we talk a little bit, and I do the session, and then I comment on what I feel energetically going on, and then we decide whether we're going to do another session after a week or so of feeling how you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Actually, somebody just, let's see. Mary wants to know, do you do feng shui session?
I do minor feng shui consultations. The larger ones, there are other people who Angie knows well, does
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, I had her on, Linda Elson, actually a few weeks ago. Yeah, yep. So in our area, we have Linda Elson for feng shui, and we have Susi for qigong, right?
Yeah.
And healing. So, but that's good. And I think like when we're talking about distance, I've done distance, sent energy, and and I've had it sent to me. It's amazing how it works. It's the same.
It does. It does.
Yeah. So, okay. So you have classes coming up in Lilydale. So you have 2 or 3, you said, classes. That's
3.
Excellent. And then you have, so you teach also at Awaken. Talk about Awaken a little bit. That's your new center that I see you at a lot.
My dear friend Carol Ruth, and you're gonna love this. We're sitting at Christmas time, and she started talking about her mother, and somehow she pops out with her mother's maiden name, and I look at her and I'm like, oh my God, we're related.
Are you? You?
Distantly, well, what are they? Intermarried families, intermarried somehow. But yeah, so my dear friend who is somehow related to me, Carol Ruth, has a shop in the McKinley Mall, and I joined to do to do teachings and do treatments out in the South Towns because I have a lot of clients out there. And I started selling some of my crystal collection. And
Oh yeah, I forgot you. Is that on the website too?
there's an entire subdivision of Chinese medicine that deals with crystals and gemstones, which I did not know and have taken a real big deep dive into. And so I have a lovely selection of gemstones, and hopefully I will be teaching some of those classes in the future of how to use gemstones and crystals and how to use them to enhance your energy and to heal. So
Yeah.
how they help us.
Yeah, another excellent tool, which is great.
Yes.
So that's so funny. I know Carol Ruth too, and so you're related. And then one thing led to another, and before you knew it, there you were working there, and you just had the Great Awaken conference, right?
Yep. It was Carol, myself, and Grandmaster Zhang, and we taught 2 days. We had 8 classes over the 2 days, and I think we gave a lot of information. And we're looking forward to doing it again. I don't know if we'll do it twice a year or once a year. I'm like,
I know. Excellent. I know. I was so excited when I saw it.
Few weekends, I'm like, is there a day I can take off?
I know, not right now, probably. Well, you got to take care of you too. So I got to ask you, is there a tip or a movement or something you could give us, all of us, Qigong wise, or something to help us stay balanced every day?
I will tell you, health wise, the thymus thump. So tapping the thymus every day.
On the thymus?
For 2 minutes. Yep, right center of your chest. So this is one of the master glands.
Okay.
When we're young, it's the size of our fist. By age 70, it's the size of a walnut.
Okay.
This produces T cells.
Okay.
So from a health standard, this is one of the big things you want to do for yourself. And if you're driving late at night and you're getting a little tired, this will wake you up.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. And if you're gonna be more balanced and have better health if you just do this for 2 minutes every day.
And my second tip is take a deep breath.
I love that. And I love this. I love that. I love that.
Sigh of appreciation.
Yeah.
It's going to do a lot for you.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Everybody, I want to say thank you so much, Susie, for joining us today. This was excellent. I love talking to you. I learned so much, and you're a joy to talk to. Thank you. And everybody that came on today to watch with us, we appreciate that you took time out of your morning to hang out with Susie and me. So join me again next week, next Friday. And my guest is going to be Mark Thomas from Fellowships of the Spirit. So yeah, thank you. Everyone say, oh, let's see.